Hi guys, so if you follow me on social media that you will know that I've just done one of the most personal posts that I've done on my blog since I've had my blog, and I wanted to try and reach out on other social media platforms as well, so doing this YouTube video to kind of get the message across about how different growing up gay is. So many people who have read the blog post have actually come up to me and said they didn't actually realise what I've actually gone through and what kind of growing up gay is actually like. So I just mainly wanted to do like the main points of what I've kind of touched on in my blog post and just kind of reach out to anybody that's in the same kind of situation or kind of understands what I've been through as well. So growing up I kind of felt like I was a little bit different to all the other boys at school. So when I was about 9 or 10 I only mainly had friends that were girls. At that age you don't really think anything of it because obviously I personally didn't really know what gay meant really. It just was always used in a very derogative way. It was used in not a very nice way. It was always kind of an insult more than anything. So I just assumed that it was just not a very nice insult. But obviously when I learned what being gay was, that was the time that kind of made me think, well, why are these people calling me gay and things like that. I didn't ever really play football or go and play kiss chase with all the other boys. I mainly played games with my best friend at the time. We used to play like games about going around the world and visiting different cafes in the UK, and it was always games that we made up ourselves. So we'd always play those and all the other boys would be off playing football or whatever, they'd be playing hide and seek or whatever, but I didn't find those games appealing to me, to be honest. So that's when I kind of thought that, okay, I'm different. And I remember the first time that somebody came up to me and said that, am I gay? And kind of made me, it kind of like a knife went through me at that point. It was kind of like, ouch, that actually did hurt. Why did they think that I'm gay? Obviously being so young, you just still don't understand the full meaning of being gay. So it was kind of like, it really did hurt and it really did upset me a little bit. But obviously during that time, you don't really understand. So you just think, why are people being so mean and horrible? So going on from primary school, that was like growing up about 9, 10, 11. So when I went to secondary school, I had a little bowl cut hair. I wore braces and so yeah, so I looked a little bit geeky actually. If you head over to my blog post you can see pictures about what I actually look like in my little school uniform, my little tie. So yeah, going to secondary school is a major thing because you're going from primary to secondary, so that's a major thing in itself. But going to secondary school being gay, it's so hard because you're trying to hide something that you're not. That you are, but you don't want people to realise that you are. So it is really hard to try and do that. Exhausting to a point. So again, I gravitated to making lots of friends with girls. I just felt comfortable with girls. I'd always hang around on my lunch breaks with girls, and I kind of made this little friendship group. There was quite a few of us. There was 2 other boys and the rest were girls. So I felt quite comfortable in this little friendship group that I had built up, and it was just really nice that there was 2 other boys in the group as well, because I'd never had friends that were boys, so it was really nice to have that comfort that there was other boys in this group. So yeah, but having lots of friends that were girls, I kind of made myself another target. Obviously to no fault of my own, it was just how I felt comfortable being around with girls and things. So I made myself a target in that sense. It started when I was in year 7, and obviously I had name calling, the odd pushing and shoving and things in the corridor. If ever we went out onto the field at lunchtime or break time, you can guarantee that a football or some kind of sporting kind of thing would come our way, because obviously I was a target. Regardless of who I was with, I was one of the targets that they would try and get, which I look back now and I think, oh my god, it's just so sad, and to think that people would want to do that and target you for just being different. So PE was something that I dreaded, because obviously there was always contact sports in PE. So rugby, football, hockey, they would always be, apart from hockey, they would be just boys orientated kind of sports. So obviously I would always try and get out of these sports, but even if I did have to do them, I'd always try and kind of take myself out of them and try and be on the sidelines or something, just try and stay away as possible. Away from it. The only good thing is my PE kit would always come out cleaner than everybody else's, because I would go nowhere near the ball. But yeah, but then that was the time that I actually thought, actually, am I gay? Because like in the changing rooms, you'd be surrounded by boys that got changed. I wouldn't look at them in like a weird way, but obviously I would kind of stand there and admire them, not in a weird sense, but obviously seeing that they were not just without their clothes on, it was kind of like, oh my god, maybe I am gay, because obviously I was admiring them for their bodies and things, which kind of sent alarm bells ringing really. Obviously I really didn't want to be gay, because it just would make my life so much harder. In year 8, 9 and 10, I tried so hard to kind of cover up that I was coming to terms with being gay. Well, not coming to terms, because obviously I'm not coming to terms with it, but obviously I had 3 girlfriends even throughout those years, and even those having that, it didn't stop any of the bullying at all. It actually probably made it worse, because they would go to my girlfriends at the time and say that your boyfriend is gay, and would make them feel horrible, and obviously it would make me feel even worse. Like even when we'd hold hands and even kiss, they would just be like, he's gay, he's just having you on, he's just pretending, you're just the beard. And so obviously that would make me feel a bit rubbish, and obviously my partner at the time. Obviously we'd have non-uniform days at school, which obviously I was a real big target then, because I was really into my fashion. Obviously I look back now and it's not that fashionable, but I was a target, so obviously I was always, on non-uniform days, I was one of the biggest targets, because obviously I wouldn't wear what other people would wear. So obviously that made me stand out a little bit more, which I look back at and I could probably blend it in, but then I think that's not me, that's not who I am, and I've never been that kind of person who just blends in. I'd rather be somebody that stands out, and I like the way that I dress. I'm not going to change because somebody doesn't like the way that I dress. All of this has mounted up. In year 9 it just got too much, the bullying just got too much. I started getting anxiety, which made me stop eating, so obviously this is when my food kind of battle came along, and I struggled eating food. I went from looking really healthy to kind of skeletal. I went really skinny, and I just was not well at all. Obviously I was still trying to try and hide this from my parents and anybody around me. So it was really hard at school when you went to dinner time and you tried to eat and things, so you would just pretend to eat, or you just pretend to forget your sandwiches, which is what I did quite a lot. So again, it started getting a lot more physical, so a lot more pushing and shoving, it just got so much. And obviously at that time as well, going through SATs, through exams, and it was just getting way too hard and really was pushing me to the limits. And to the point where I didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to about it, because obviously couldn't speak to my family, because obviously they didn't know I was gay. And my friends, I felt like I couldn't talk to them because I was just so scared what they would think. So this is kind of the bit where I want to try and reach out to people. So things got so much that I felt like the right thing to do was to end my life. I've never really spoken about this publicly before, like properly. I've only told at least probably 2 people in my life. So obviously one day I just woke up and felt like I didn't want to be here anymore. Obviously it come on from a very long time, and it was just really proving really hard, and I remember walking to the woods just not far from my house, which have really big sheer drops and cliffs in the woods. They're very far down, so obviously I thought jumping off one of those was actually going to help me and save me from myself, really. So obviously I remember walking to the ledge of this sheer drop and obviously wanting to just jump. In that split second before I did, obviously something in my head told me to not do it, and in so much sense I am so glad that I didn't, because obviously now I'm completely with who I am. I'm so happy. So obviously it just got so much, and obviously I just remember falling backwards from this ledge and just crying, and literally crying all the way home, but trying not to make it so obvious so my parents could see. But I always feel like I really need to reach out to people who have ever felt that just sheer desperation and feel like that they can't do anything or can't talk to anybody, because I want to kind of open up to people. This is why I've opened up to people, so people can come and talk to me. Obviously you probably don't know who I am or anything, but I just want to have that kind of beacon to people to reach out and be there for people who really are struggling. In the end, I told one of my best friends what I had done, and the weight off my shoulders, and to tell her that I was gay, and she was absolutely one of the best people that I could have told, really. She was just so supportive, and she was so upset that I'd even gone down that route to even think that I would do that. And obviously people don't expect it, but if things get so hard and so tough, then it can happen to anybody. Anybody are capable of doing anything, really. It is not a very nice thing to even say. So years 10 and 11 was really hard as well, even though I told my friend and I felt like the weight had come off me a little bit. My face decided to completely break out with spots. So obviously I wasn't just bullied for being gay now, I was bullied for being ugly. My face actually looked like it was just covered, and it wasn't just my face, it was my tops of my arms, my chest and my back. So obviously you can understand what I was going through. And I remember once when we was just about to have our photos taken for, I think it was either year 10 or 11, somebody kind of said, have you washed your face, because it absolutely looks disgusting. So at that point I just wanted to tell the photographer that I didn't want my picture taken, but I still did, and I put on a fake smile and I got my picture, which is over at my blog. So yeah, spotty teenager who's gay, it was really hard. In the last 2 years I started having crushes on boys, which really was not helpful at all. I had a crush on one of the boys that was in our group. It kind of become an obsession that I kept talking to him and wanted him to get with me. But obviously he was having struggles as well. He has now come out gay, but obviously at the time he was probably going through the same struggles as what I was going through. So obviously I could understand why he didn't come forward or anything, but it was really hard. So obviously it was just not really good. And on to that, it was in year 10 a rumour was spread about me getting with another guy that none of my friendship group actually liked. So obviously I lost all my friends in like a day. It was ridiculous. Like, one little rumour could actually do something so destructive. I had 2 other friends which actually stuck by me the whole of the last 2 years, so they were both so amazing. We lost contact after school and college, but obviously I'm getting back into contact with them because I just redoing these videos and this post has actually made me think actually they stuck by me and they were really amazing. So obviously this group, they were so horrible, they were still just so bitchy. I remember being in drama once and they were in my drama group, and obviously they were all together and I had to put on a performance of Snow White with 3 people. So obviously I was the evil queen. because nobody else wanted to do that role, so I said I would do it in this little group of mine. And I remember obviously the Evil Queen dies in the Brothers Grimm and in the Disney version, so obviously when I dropped down dead, one of the girls actually shouted, "Oh my god, thank god he's dead." So they wanted me dead, or they were just being vile. They were just vile, and it's funny to see now, because obviously we've left school and things, but at the time it was just so hard with everything else going on in my life. It was just like I didn't need it at all. And then at the end of it all, obviously it was prom, and being gay, you can't take a boy to prom because obviously it just isn't right in society's eyes. So it was really hard because obviously I didn't have a date, because obviously I didn't have any girlfriends, like proper girlfriends. So instead I travelled with one of my best friends from school, primary school, who was in my friendship group, as probably the only other person that I was friends with at the time. And so I travelled with her, and then I went to prom with my two best friends who stood by me through everything, and I had an amazing time. But I was so glad that it was all over, that school was over, that we were celebrating school was over, because I just could not wait to leave. It was just, school was vile, it was horrible, and everyone says, "Oh, I wish I could go back to school," but I really don't. I really couldn't think of anything worse of going back to school. It makes me feel really emotional talking about it. I've tried so hard to hold back tears from this video, but doing my post, I can remember being in tears because of this, how horrible it was for me. I'm not going to cry. But yeah, it's been tough. It's been really tough doing this post. I don't want to cry. But yeah, I wanted to do this video because I wanted to reach out to other people on this platform. So obviously I want people to know how it feels being gay, and understand what people going through school being gay, what it really is like, and just to open people's eyes and be a little bit more cautious and careful what they do and what they say to gay people, because it does hurt, and to this day it still really hurts what I had to go through. So obviously I want to reach out to those people that have been in the same situation, to come forward and express their views and kind of make a connection with me. And if you're going through hell, talk to somebody. It's seriously half a problem, and 9 times out of 10 people will understand. So this is going to be a series. So obviously I've done my primary and secondary school, so obviously I'm going on to college and work life next, and then after that it will be who I am today. So obviously I will do videos for those as well. But hopefully I won't get so emotional, because obviously this is like the worst bit out of the way, because this was the worst time of my life, worst 5 years of my life, well maybe 10 years of my life. But yes, so yeah, I just want people to reach out. So yeah, thanks for watching. I really hope people understand me as a person more now as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and thank you for your support and all the comments I've had so far about this blog post. It's been really inspiring, and thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Bye!